Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini. What is going on, everyone? Another week talking Pittsburgh sports is just about wrapped up. We are here on this Friday evening to wrap up the week as we head into a jam-packed weekend full of football and NHL hockey. We will start the show here in a matter of moments talking about hockey, quite possibly one of the most unexpected hot starts to the season for your Pittsburgh Penguins. They last night getting a massive win and a statement win at that, taking down the reigning, defending, two-time Stanley Cup champions. We will break down that big win for the Pens here in a minute. After that, we will get into the final injury reports and game designations for both the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Green Bay Packers before those two historic franchises clash on Sunday Night Football. After that, we will get into some of the extra Pittsburgh sports news from the past 2 days. We heard from a couple of the Steelers coordinators and players. We will also give an update on some former Steelers making their bids for the Hall of Fame. Of course, we will touch a little bit on the Steelers wide receiver situation and possible fits for that need on this team. All of that and much more in the second half of the show. But like I said, we are going to start with hockey and then get into the Steelers and Packers injury reports here in a moment. Before we do any of that, as usual, if you are new here, welcome to the live stream. Welcome to this small community that we are building here, trying to grow it every single day. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss a live stream or a video here on the channel. Also, go give the channel go give this live stream a like, share it so we can get more viewers in here, and any thoughts, questions, or comments that you have, you can feel free to put those in the comments section on the YouTube video. Very easy to find, even easier for you to put something in there, whatever is on your mind. Get those in there. I enjoy interacting with you fine folks that way. Also, go give the channel a follow on the following social media platforms that you see here: Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR. And be sure to stop back in a little bit later on tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. With that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get the show on the road here in a minute. Last night, the Pittsburgh Penguins down in Sunrise, Florida, taking on the reigning, defending, undisputed Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. I know I sounded like Paul Heyman from WWE there, but great night for the Pens. They down there in Florida. Tristan Jarry got the nod in net for the black and gold. He came off a 3-0 shutout over the San Jose Sharks. Head coach Dan Muse giving praise to Jarry in his play recently, saying that he has been awesome. Only one lineup change for the Pittsburgh Penguins last night. That was Harrison Brunick, the young prospect defenseman that the Pens have up with the team right now on a 9-game tryout period. He did not play last night. They want to rest him, keep him at full energy as much as they possibly can. Connor Clifton, the former Boston Bruin and Buffalo Sabre, bit of a tough guy, a guy who's not going to back down from a challenge or take any bullying out on the ice, which the Florida Panthers, that is how they play hockey. They like to get in, get physical, get nasty, and really muddy the game up. Kind of sounds like the Pittsburgh Steelers, honestly. But Clifton, he enters the lineup. Brunick comes out. On to the game itself last night, ladies and gentlemen. The Penguins, hot start out of the gates. They get an early power play, and it is Sid the Kid, though some people are calling him Sid the Adult now, who gets the boys on the board. Crosby on the power play, a shot from the point, I believe, from Erik Karlsson. Lots of bodies near the front of the net. He could not find it. Could Sergei Bobrovsky, the Panthers goaltender? It squirts out behind the net. Brian Rust, he finds it there, hits Crosby waiting near the face-off dot to the right of the net, and he buried it, bar down to get the Pens on the board 1-0. At that point, that made it 4 straight games with a goal from Sidney Crosby. And at that point, he sat just 5 points away from 1,700 in his career. I say at that point, hinting that he was not done last night. I think that was it for that period. Ended up being 1-0 after one. Really, I think that was a feeling out process for both teams that first period. No real team played well, but you knew it was going to be a high energy, highly competitive game. No one team was going to pull away in this matchup. Similar start to the second period for the Pens, nearing, I think, 7 minutes into that period as well. The Pens scored again. This time it was Raquel getting the goal for the Black and Gold. I believe another shot from the point hit off of a body in front of the net, and Raquel able to just slap it in on the backhander behind Bobrovsky. On that assist, on that goal, Raquel's goal, Crosby getting an assist there. He tied Mario Lemieux for the most multi-point games in Penguins history. It is just insane right now that the run Sidney Crosby is on. He's 37, 38 years old. And it's not like, the Pens PR or us where, going out there and we're, squinting really hard to find these stats that Crosby's breaking to, inflate his performance lately. No, he has just been that good and that red hot to start the year. He is, quickly rising up towards records, and he is just shattering them at almost like a record pace right now. I mean, just insane. Every night it seems like, all right, Sid's going to pass this person for this person for that. He is just off to that hot of a start right now. After that goal that sent the Peds up 2-0, then the big bad Panthers started to wake up a little bit. Connor Clifton, who we mentioned got back into the lineup for the Pens, he takes a penalty. I think it took no more than 15 seconds for the Florida Panthers to capitalize on their power play. Brad Marchand, post side, an easy tap in for him, made it 2-1. And then a common theme for the night, the Pens responding. And it was this, I want to say, probably my favorite line on the Penguins right now. It is Tommy Novak, who the Pens acquired at last year's trade deadline for Michael Bunting, and there were a couple of other players swapped in that deal. So it's Tommy Novak on the wing, and on that line with him, two kids, Philip Hollander on the wing, and centering it, 18-year-old Ben Kindle, who all eyes have been on him. He, just like Harrison Brunick, in a 9-game contract, and we've been wondering, all right, this kid, he made the team out of training camp, fresh off of getting drafted. How's he going to adapt to, regular season play in the NHL? Is he going to be able to hold his own? And will he be able to carve out a role for him, a spot for him on this roster for the rest of the season beyond those 9 games? I say he's pretty much there. I mean, I don't know what else this kid could show you, that isn't positive that would warrant sending him back to his junior team. Kindle cycling up high in the offensive zone, gets the puck near the blue line, feeds over to the top of the one circle for Tommy Novak. A beautiful give and go. Novak gives it right back to him. And almost in a similar spot where Sidney Crosby scored his goal earlier from that right to the net faceoff dot, Kindle, a one-time ripper to the top corner, beats Sergei Bobrovsky. That has got to be a defining moment for Ben Kindle on whether or not he is going to continue with this team beyond 9 games. You have great sense for the play on the ice. You can see a play developing before no one else realizes it. You set yourself up in a good position in open ice for your teammate to give you a easy pass, and then you rip it past a Stanley Cup champion, 2-time Stanley Cup champion goaltender up high. That was 10 out of 10, 11 out of 10 play by Ben Kindle. Absolutely incredible stuff from him. Just par for the course for what he's done to begin this year. The Panthers, again, they did not go away after that. We head into the third period now. Sam Reinhart, another Florida Panther player, damn good for them, former Buffalo Sabre. He on the power play as well, made it 3-2. Really, I think the Pens, they just got caught puck watching there. Reinhart all alone, just ripped it up high on Jari for a goal. Nothing really Jari can do from point blank range. He's trying to catch a bullet there. But again, Pens, when they give up a goal, they go down and they give it right back. The fans there at the Panthers arena started chanting Bobby, Bobby for Sergei Bobrovsky, their goaltender. And then it is a guy who is quickly developing a legendary status with the fan base, Connor Dewar. And this another great line for the Pens, the fourth line. Connor Dewar comes in, shimmies around one defender, and just throws the puck at the net, and it squeaked past Bobrovsky and into the net. Dewar now 3 goals in 4 games for him, so he's on a bit of a hot streak. The Panthers again brought the game back within 1. Marchand again made it 4-3. And then again, this Pens power play, the top unit, went to work. Sidney Crosby, I think with Ricard Raquel again, those two connecting on goals quite a bit here. Just a tic-tac-toe play. I believe the puck was up high with Erik Karlsson and Evgeny Malkin. Gino sends it down low to Raquel beside the post, feeds it right through the goal crease, and then cross the goal crease. Crosby waiting on the back door. A beautiful play there set up by the power play. That ended up being the final blow to the Panthers, made it 5-3. You see the final score right there. The Pens taking down the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers last night. Crosby now 2 goals, 3 points in that game last night. And this is a absolutely insane stat here from Josh Yohe today. Covers the Penguins for the Athletic, excuse me. Sidney Crosby now has scored on each of his last 5 shots on goal. So as if, it wasn't happening before, everything that Crosby is touching or throwing at the net, it is turning to gold and tickling the twine right now. 87, still doing it at a high pace. But all in all, wrapping up talking about last night's game between the Pens and the reigning champion Panthers, that was a statement win for the Pens. We, for the first 7 games of this season for the Pens, have been wondering, all right, this team, off to a 5-2 start. Are they legit? Is this just, an early season surge before they fall back to reality? I don't care. This still could be, an early season, surge for the Pens to where then, as the months go on here, we head into November and whatever, they fall back to reality and start playing like the roster that they are currently constructed as. But I don't care right now. When you take down the defending Stanley Cup champions in their barn, nonetheless, that is a mega morale booster in that locker room. And that is the type of win that incites belief, not just in the fan base, but in the players in that locker room, the coaching staff, even though I think they have full confidence in their players, and then everyone else in the organization. When you do that, you like to think, all right, if we can beat them, we can beat anyone in this league right now. So hell of a win there by the Pens. Just some loose end notes on that game from them. The game textbook example of when you take a punch, give one back. Every time the Panthers came within a goal, the Pens responded within the next couple of shifts. The direction of this team right now is still looking damn good. Crosby, Gino, they are playing out of their minds, kind of like reversing the clock here for those two. And they're bringing these kids along with them. Kindle, he's been good. I don't think I've seen, too many negatives in Philip Hollander's game. Justin Brazeau, who you brought in free agency as a 1 year, $1 million signing. I mean, he got off to a hot start. Didn't have a point last night, but still has been playing good. The fourth line, they've been clicking. And speaking of that, how good is it to have depth scoring on this team? Remember back in the past couple of years when it was, all right, if the line of Crosby and Raquel and Russ don't put in a goal here, then, I mean, you might as well wait another 2 shifts until they get back out on the ice, because sure as hell the third and fourth line ain't going to put the puck in the net. We've seen that a lot here so far this year. Connor Dewar, like I said, 3 goals in 4 games. I like that the fourth line, when they're out there, usually you send those guys out there when, you're stuck in your defensive zone and you're trying to prevent a goal. No, those guys, they have been pushing the puck down the ice and they've been keeping it in the Panthers zone. And then, when you get tired bodies out there for the opposition, then the big dogs come on the ice. Like I said, again, Ben Kindle, another fantastic goal from him. I still, it's hard to talk about Ben Kindle because he has just been outstanding. There's little flaws to his game. Now he's starting to put the puck in the net on top of everything else he's been doing. He doesn't look outmatched out there against, seasoned vets in the NHL and bigger bodies. So this team right now, they are flying high, and it's just, good to get that win. You're still going to ask the question, how long are they going to be able to take this and run with it? But with the way that they played here last night against the Florida Panthers, you got to think that, hey, maybe this, is some sort of reality and it's not just, smoke and mirrors to begin the year. So a hell of a game last night for the Pens. Also, almost forgot this guy. I'd be totally, terrible if I did not mention the play of Tristan Jarry last night. Us Pens fans, we get on Jarry a lot, makes a good chunk of money, doesn't live up to it. Last night, that was a all-star, two-time all-star, I think, performance from Tristan Jarry and not whatever the hell we've seen from him for the past couple of years. So outstanding job by Jarry. The kid, Ben Kindle, he looked good. Crosby, Raquel, the power play, they're clicking, depth scoring all around. This Pens team, at least to begin the season, they look like a well-oiled machine. Went into the Panthers barn, beat them at their own game, and now they are 6-2 through 8 games to start the season off of a 5-3 win last night. And then we will see what they do this weekend, Saturday, tomorrow night. The Pens and Blue Jackets, it will be Hall of Fame night for the Pens. 4 new inductees into the Penguins Hall of Fame, and they play a division rival in the Columbus Blue Jackets. So good job, Pens, and looking forward to see what this team brings here in the next couple of games, see if they can continue this hot streak that they are on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 5 of you in here right now. Welcome to the live stream. Going to real quick catch up on some comments that I have not gotten to since we have been live. Echelon, welcome back, good sir. Defense sucks. Go all in and get Jalen Waddle and Breece Hall, says Echelon. Switching gears here. We are going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers coming up next. We will start with final injury reports between them and their opponent on Sunday night, the Green Bay Packers, here in a minute. Been saying that for, I think, pretty much the entire week. Their Echelon, after watching the defense just get diced up by any team that has, competent quarterback play, by Jamar Chase and Joe Flacco. And looking at this defense, ton of high-paid guys and young guys that you got to figure out what you have in them. I do not see the Steelers adding all that much to the defense. If they do add at all, it'll probably be depth guys who maybe could push some other guys on the team, but I don't see the Steelers, even though defense is the way more worrying unit right now. I just don't see the Steelers making any sizable additions to that unit to try to fix whatever issues are going on. I think they're just going to rely on internal improvement. The offense, however, with looking on paper right now, and I know you got a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers who has, kind of like we were just talking about Sidney Crosby and Evgeny Malkin a moment ago, turning back the clock to, some truly remarkable play. The offense still on paper, especially at the wide receiver position, doesn't really, look like a playoff caliber unit right now. They are, I think overachieving a bunch right now. So I definitely do agree with that sentiment. I've been echoing it. Go all in on offense. You want to, just so I think this team heading into the year, we were expecting, the defense once again for another year to be the unit that wins the day for the Steelers, and then you can have Aaron Rodgers just do his thing, run the offense really better than anyone else has, which was a pretty low bar to clear. But now that the defense, it is, very, very Jekyll and Hyde. You've had, I think 3 games where they've looked good and then 3 games where they looked absolutely abysmal. Now, I'm all for going all in on offense. Averaging 25 points a game now is the offense. If your defense is, going to give up 30 or 33 like they just did to the Bengals every night, then you might as well, or every other game, you might as well go all in on offense and make sure that your offense can put up more than 25 a game. Make sure we see if we can get them up to 30 if we get a big playmaker like you mentioned, a Waddle or a Hall there. Breece Hall, I don't really see it. Still got Jalen Moore, and they like Kenny Gainwell. They just invested a 3rd-round pick in Caleb Johnson. I would love Breece Hall. Don't get me wrong. It's just I don't think that's in the cards for the Steelers. Jalen Waddle, on the other hand, we will get into the wide receiver talk a little bit later on in the show. But Waddle, you want to talk about making a statement and having a 1A, 1B on the outside? You can have that scenario with a Waddle. Now you'd have to give up a good bit for him, like a 2nd-round pick, which I think is no bueno for Omar Khan and the Steelers. Main heads right now. Same thing goes for Christian Olave, but Waddle, he definitely would be a massive guy to get. I would love that. Tyrone Keaton in here. Welcome back, Tyrone. Same thing here with Black Magic. Welcome, gang. We back, says Echelon. Why does Rodgers always get the wrong end of the stick when it comes to these defenses? Yeah, I've seen the meme too, where it was I forget what movie it is, where the guy is there and people are crying all around him. I think the movie scene I'm talking about, and he goes first time. It's like Steelers fans finally getting a good quarterback in Aaron Rodgers, but the defense falls to crap. Yeah, first time. So I don't get it. I mean, could the defense, turn it around? They got the horses to do it. They got the, brand name power to do it. I mean, any defense with Cam Hayward, TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, those types of guys, you never want to say, those guys are forever going to be bad for the rest of the season, but they need to turn it around in a historic fashion right here, because you got a murderer's row of a schedule starting to come up quickly here. You got the Packers this weekend. They are absolutely, probably a favorite in the NFC to make some noise in the postseason. After that, you got the unexpected but dynamic Indianapolis Colts, and then the I almost said San Diego Chargers, the LA Chargers, who just put belt to ass, bare ass too, on the Minnesota Vikings last night. So that's just the beginning of it. Then you got to get into the other part of the schedule, where you got the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen. You got the Detroit Lions later on this season. Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens twice. You're going to have them. So the defense, they really need to figure it out quick. I'll tell you that much. We get them to the offense. We'll average 32 to 34 points a game. That's what you need. If your defense is going to be, split personality defense where you don't know which one you're going to get on a daily basis, go out. I think even adding, a Jacoby Myers might be able to get you that, or even a Rashid Shaheed could get you that. A guy who fluid route runner, brings, a tiny bit of speed more to the offense, can take the top off of defenses. In Jacoby Myers' case, can also help you run the ball as well with the blocking he does. Just go out and get a wide receiver at all. Just, someone that, even the most basic of NFL fans can, look at and say, oh yeah, I know that guy, or at least I've heard of him before. Right now, I mean, beyond Calvin Austin, who's going to be coming back tomorrow night. We'll get to that here in a minute on the injury report. Are you going to go up to someone on the street who's not a diehard Steeler fan and say, hey, Roman Wilson, do you think he can be a part of this offense in the postseason, or Scotty Miller or Ben Skoranek? They're going to say no. You go out and you get a Myers, Shaheed, Olave, Calvin Ridley, or Jalen Waddle, just someone else that has some sort of resume of success in the league, then that will take this offense, I think, beyond what we could expect right now. But we got to see first if they're going to be willing to take that chance. The only reason I said Brees is because I've seen some reports that the Steelers wouldn't mind picking him up. Of course, I think Steelers wouldn't mind picking him up. I mean, hell, running back the caliber of Brees Hall, I'm pretty sure, 3/4 of NFL teams around the league wouldn't mind picking up Brees Hall. Same thing goes with another running back that the Steelers have been linked to, Devon Achane, but doesn't mean, it's going to be real. I don't mean for that to sound mean or snarky at all, but I just don't see a running back, coming here before a wide receiver. If they do, though, if they do get a running back, I'd be interested to see how that looks because, what all of it happens, with Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Johnson, who are right now behind Jalen Warren on the depth chart. And two, if you, bring in another top tier running back, how are you going to get him and Warren their fair share of touches? Are you going to run 2 running back personnel more or something like that? I don't know. And that would make it, I would think, even more of a run first offense than anything else. So I don't know. Brees, Warren split carries, and Kenny G would be on special teams. See, I don't know if they're going to, limit Kenny G to just a special teams guy, though. I think they like him quite a bit. And also, you're going to, in his first year, put your 3rd round pick, Caleb Johnson, on the bench, as a healthy scratch. I mean, that would kind of seem like you're waving the white flag on him before his career even got off the ground. Tyrone here. I'm ready for this one. I'm ready too. This is going to be a hell of a game tomorrow night between the, or 2 nights from now between the Packers and the Steelers. As a matter of fact here, let me do this. Let's see here. Aha. There she is. Just whipped this up earlier today. We got the thumbnail ready for Steelers and Packers. Be sure you guys, the 8 of you in here, come back on Sunday night, a little bit before 8. We will go live and talk about some pregame notes and what we could look forward to in tomorrow night's game. So, or in Sunday night's game. So, yeah, come on back Sunday there, guys. There's the graphic right there. We whipped up today. I almost in these graphics want to get the accurate jerseys that the teams would wear on there, but kind of had to go with the normal home black Aaron Rodgers right there because the Steelers, they will be wearing those new throwback uniforms that I think people are a little bit excited to see, but also they're like, why in this game of all games did they have to wear those uniforms? Because you got 2 teams here that are probably the most beautiful, base uniforms in the NFL, in the Steelers and the Packers. And then you just now have them wearing these alternate uniforms. So people making a big stink about that. That's for sure. To the comments here we go before we get into the Steelers and Packers final injury reports ahead of that game. Echelon here. Pretty sure nobody wants to play for the Jets. They're historically trash. We will talk about the Jets a little bit. I mean, wow, woof. Yeah, you're talking about a dumpster fire right there. Bit of a note on them we will get to in the extra Pittsburgh sports news here today. This will be a good test. I like Roman. Will it matter if we don't utilize him? What up, Broham says Black Magic to Tyrone Keaton there. Will it matter if we don't utilize him? I don't care, honestly. If you can go out and you can get a wide receiver, a guy that I think it's fair to say that this year's crop of wide receiver trade targets. They aren't guys that you're just going to bring in here to finish out the season as a hired gun, for the playoffs. If you go out and you get a wide receiver, then you are giving your quarterback another weapon for the next 2 years or so. So if you go out and you get a Jalen Waddle or a Chris Olave or a Jacoby Myers, more likely than not, those guys are going to be here for a while. I don't care if, you use them a bunch for the rest of the year. At least having another guy that if, God forbid, this absolute specimen over here in DK Metcalf goes down, you are going to have that guy to step in for him. And then guess what? If you, continue with the system you're running here, you put in the rare times that you're in 11 personnel and you have those two wide receivers out there on the field. If you don't use them that much, then guess what? In the offseason, then you can start to build your offense around throwing the ball a little bit more, especially if Aaron Rodgers comes back for another year. I just want another wide receiver in general. I know that getting a second wide receiver could help the offense produce the ball, but get the ball down the field a little bit more. But just having a guy in general that if Metcalf goes down, you're knowing you're not screwed. That's what I care about the most here, to be quite honest with you. Concepts in here right now. Omar needs to do his job and blackmail these GMs, forcing them to trade us their best players. So disappointed in him for not resorting to nefarious means. Everyone is available if you have the info. You saying Omar might know? Hey, FBI, I know you're doing your thing over in the NBA right now. Why don't you come back over here? I got some stuff on these guys. If they don't trade me this guy, have fun. No. Omar, I think, I don't think he's a guy that, ever doesn't have his phone in his hand. So could you maybe be a little critical of him waiting for the perfect deal? I think that's fair, but a guy who I think is, still ringing every possible phone he can for a wide receiver, we'll see if he gets it done. But if you got to get aggressive for one, then get aggressive for one by all means, because who knows if Rodgers is going to be back here next year. Your defense is struggling right now, and you're going to rely on your offense a whole hell of a lot down the stretch here. So go get help at that position, because we've seen what it's like when you don't have a number one and your, de facto number one is Calvin Austin, and it ain't pretty. So please go get it done there, Omar. Concepts here, guys, talking amongst yourselves. Perk Rogers game, 5 touchdowns incoming, says Echelon. See, I either think that we're going to see Aaron Rodgers' best game as a Steeler or his worst, and there is no in between. I mean, we're sort of at that weird matchup where it's like, all right, quarterback against his former team, who's going to, know what's going on the most? Is Rodgers going to be able to put on a hell of a show because he's going up against the defense that he faced for over 15 years in Green Bay in practices, or is the coaching staff going to know all of his tendencies and be able to, think what he's thinking and adjust to it in real time? I don't know, but I do think, Echelon, I just have that feeling we're either going to get one side of the pendulum swing here or the other. It's either going to be Rodgers' best game or his worst, and I don't know which one we're going to get, quite honestly. Echelon voice, announcer voice. Rodgers sees the field, sniffs some salts. DK is down the field. He caught a 40. He caught it at the 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. I wouldn't mind that there, Echelon. Hopefully willing it. I would love to see Metcalf have another touchdown performance here. I think so far this season, not many teams, knowing that Metcalf is the largest threat out there at wide receiver, haven't seen too many teams shut him down yet. The Bengals did that. Will the Packers do the same thing they did as the Bengals to limit Metcalf? We'll see there. Now you know what. Eff it. Go get Justin Jefferson. He's not happy. Go get Jay Jettas. I mean, you want to talk about all of a sudden watching a matchup of Chase and Higgins versus Justin Jefferson and DK Metcalf? That'd be insane. Downside is you'd have to give up a first round pick, probably multiple, for that to happen. But then again, it's not like a college quarterback is lighting the world on fire right now that the Steelers would use a first round pick on guaranteed. So, I mean, if he's available, I'd at least open up a conversation for it. Though I do think, especially the first round pick in this year's draft, Steelers are going to want to hold on to that because the draft is in Pittsburgh and they're going to, not want to go the first night of the draft without, having the fan base there get ignited. I like what Khan has done. Just had to troll DK, Jamar, and Jay Jettas. Would have Rodgers doing cartwheels. Dirt on the Bungles shouldn't be too hard to find. I mean, kind of not keeping care of the field well, but people have, gone at Bengals ownership before. We'll see what happens. Don't care at this point. Go all in. Rodgers to Jettas and DK is insane. That would be the most insane, like you're playing franchise mode on Madden thing ever. It'd be insane. One of the craziest trades of all time. That's for sure. All right, 8 of you in here right now. We are going to finally, now that we're all caught up on the comments, move into the final injury reports here for the Packers and the Steelers. Was not live yesterday, had some stuff going on, but yesterday, a couple of new additions to the Steelers injury report. You're taking a look right here at Friday's injury report for the black and gold, but yesterday for the Steelers, no Zach Frazier for the Steelers. Was limited on Wednesday, did not practice yesterday, did the Steelers bright young center. Instead, while he was just in shorts and a jersey shell, not doing anything, Ryan McCullum, the backup center, was taking first team reps. Zach Frazier said yesterday that his calf was feeling sore. Had an injury on that happen in the second drive of the Bengals game, but he did finish that game. So good news on him that he was able to fight through it. Wouldn't see any way why he would miss Sunday's game. Also popping up on the injury report yesterday, this one the most concerning one, TJ Watt. Hip injury for him. He was limited. Also wide receiver Scotty Miller was limited with a finger injury. Now on to today's practice report. As you see right here, good news for the Steelers. Zach Frazier will be questionable, but honestly, think he'll be good to go. Practiced today. I believe he was a full participant, right? Yeah, he was limited, but still, though, Frazier said he'll be okay. Just took one day off of, to rest up that calf. He was wearing a sleeve on his left calf at practice today, but back at practice, moved pretty well from the videos we've seen, so doesn't look like that's going to be anything that holds him out on Sunday night. Other guys here, Scotty Miller with that finger injury. You wonder what it is. He ruled out, the only player ruled out for Sunday's game. And then the two guys working their way back from injured reserve, Will Howard, Malik Harrison, those two gentlemen questionable right there. Just going through the rest of the injuries report here. Metcalf resting, Cam Hayward resting as well. Those guys were full. Other than that, everyone else on the injury report good to go. Looking at the Packers, however, they got a much larger injury report, and they are getting hit quite hard right now by the injury bug. Looking here, key players for them: Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, arguably their two top wide receivers. I don't know where you fit Romeo Doubs into that equation. They, along with defensive tackle Devontae Wyatt and kicker Brandon McManus, they're all questionable. And so is defensive lineman Warren Brinson. So their kicker, one of their, I don't know if he's a starter or not, but I know he will, if he plays, get a good look of reps and defensive snaps. So a pretty key defensive lineman, arguably their two top wide receivers and their kicker questionable. And then on top of that, their starting defensive lineman, Lucas Van Ness, and one of their wide receivers who rotates in there quite a bit, Dontavian Wicks, all out. So some worrying news here for the Packers. We'll see which of these questionables are good to go. That would be a hell of a break for the Steelers. I mean, no Wicks, but if you could miss Christian Watson and or Matthew Golden, then that all of a sudden, limits at least a little bit of the threat from the wide receivers of the Packers there. This secondary, that's coming off of a game where they just got absolutely emasculated by Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. This is going to be, a step down in difficulty, but still a formidable challenge. If they can get a break here, then should be no excuse to the Steelers secondary having a get-right game on Saturday night or on Sunday night. Damn, why do I keep on doing that? Other than that, looking at the Friday injury report here for the Packers, they had one of their starting guards, Aaron Banks, with a groin injury. He's good to go. Anthony Belton, who I think, not sure if he's a starting tackle, but I know he is one of their main backups. He was a full participant. Josh Jacobs, who you see right here, their starting running back, a calf injury. He was limited, but must be good news on his availability for Sunday night. He was not listed as questionable or anything. Their starting safety, Xavier McKinney, with a ankle and knee injury. Zach Tom, one of their starting offensive linemen with a back, was limited. Quay Walker with a neck was a full go. Just looking at this Friday report here for the Packers, they are pretty banged up heading into this one. Also, Nate Hobbs, one of their starting corners as well. I believe their starting slot corner. So they got a good bit of questionables, two guys who are out, and other guys, even though they're good to go, they were not all that healthy through practices this week. So to these guys, give them a couple of body blows early, make them want to quit, because when you're banged up and you're hurt out there and you see the team overmatching you, then you're going to win the mental battle and you're going to more than likely walk out with the win. So that is the final injury report ahead of Sunday night's game against the Packers. Once again, hopefully all of you can join me back here. To the comments section we go. Good bit of comments while we're doing that. Echelon here again. We are in win now mode. Rogers is 41, ain't getting younger. TJ is 31. Ramsey turned 31 yesterday. Yes, that was in the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment, which we will get into here in a moment. Happy belated birthday to Jalen Ramsey. But I agree. You brought in these guys. You can't leave any stone unturned here for this season. No matter how bad the defense is or how good the offense is, you got to make the necessary moves. Echelon here. Hopefully Malik Harrison is ready now. Would love to see that. Brings in a big body there at linebacker. So you would like to think he can help a little bit in, stopping these run defense woes that the Steelers have. And also no Miles Killebrew for the rest of the season. He had knee surgery earlier this week. Harrison, we know, can be a core special teams guy as well and help out there. So yeah, getting Malik Harrison back, that would be pretty good. Also talking about the other IR guy out there, Will Howard. We'll talk about him here in a minute. He had a couple of interesting quotes yesterday as well. Concepts here. Would you do this trade? Guaranteed undefeated season with the Super Bowl win, but 5 straight 0-17 seasons after that. I'd have to think on that. That's an easy yes for me. Because, trying to hit on that from all lenses here of Steelers fans. You're going to get a Super Bowl ring. So, hey, Super Bowl champs, that's now 7 for the organization, most in NFL history. Aaron Rodgers has his Peyton Manning moment where he can win a ring and ride off into the sunset, make up for beating the Steelers in 2011 in the Super Bowl. And then after that, you go 0-17. It's not like fans have been, waiting, haven't been wanting that either, because then that never-ending fire Tomlin crowd, Tomlin will get a Super Bowl ring, but I think, by the time he hits, 0-17 or something, he's going to be thinking about retirement or moving into some other form of his career, not as a coach. So then 0-17, 5 straight first-round picks. You can probably find a franchise quarterback then. I'd do it in a heartbeat, honestly. I don't see too many downsides to that. Just thinking more about the bad with the 0-17 seasons. Sure, will fans get probably irritated after the first or second season? Yeah, but, when you get the first-round pick time and time again, I think this team at some point will, hit on one, and, first round picks, first overall picks, that springs eternal hope of the future. So yeah, I do it, honestly. Concepts here. Corey Trice, wide receiver 2. I'm calling it now. You want to talk about, go getting a Chris Olave without going and getting Chris Olave. We have Chris Olave at home. He's Corey Trice, a decent sized guy, though one's a corner and one's a wide receiver, and he's always hurt. So, don't see Corey Trice making a wide receiver too. You're talking about a dude who's going to get tackled compared to making the tackling. So, I don't think that's going to happen. Scotty Miller, WTF. How do you get hurt not playing? I don't know. It's a finger injury. I wonder, is it a, stowed finger where, you jammed it? Was it, a broken finger? You'd like to think, you would have known if that would have happened. I don't know. Hit the jugs machine too many times. I don't know. Looking here. I know one thing, this defense better have the best game. No excuses. Offense, I love you. I think that's how every single Steeler fan is feeling right now, especially, after you just got absolutely gashed over and over and over again by Jamar Chase. You go up against the Packers team that has no Matthew Golden or Christian Watson or Dontavian Wicks. Wicks is already out. If you get just one of Golden or Watson out as well, then this DB group, they cannot get cooked like they did on Thursday night. And the first and foremost focus of this defense, and judging how the Steelers coordinators and coaches and players have said the same thing over and over again, whether this defense does good or not on Sunday night, it's going to start with how they defend the run. Because if Chase Brown just, ran at will against you when he was coming in off to a slow start to the season, what the hell do you expect Josh Jacobs, who's a touchdown machine, to do to you? Or the week after that, Jonathan Taylor, who's probably the best running back in the league right now. So, if this defense isn't going to have, going up against those two wide receivers, which the Packers, they are loaded pretty deep at wide receiver, still, that shouldn't be an excuse. Stop the run, or at least limit as best you can Josh Jacobs, and do your best to not give up anything through the air. Damn, 5 straight 0-17 seasons for one Super Bowl. I don't know. WTF, what I do for 5 years. Well, I think, at, a couple years in, you can maybe, mentally check out a little bit, and your Sundays would be open. I might be dead by that time when we win a game. Don't say that there, Magic. Don't do that. That's the part that makes that a difficult choice, but that would be historic. I'd take it, but will admit I'd be miserable for those 5 years. I mean, yeah, but hey, at least, 5 straight, 5 straight 0-17 seasons. That's 5 straight first overall picks. And, you win a Super Bowl. Sure, you can go those 5 years marching through the desert. But, hey, with 5 first overall picks, you hit on those, or at least, 3 out of the 5, then you got a solid core for maybe another dynasty for the next 15, 20 years after that. I love this chat, bro. You're one of the few Steelers fans who is honest and doesn't lead with bias. Keep doing your thing, bro. I appreciate that, Echelon. I honestly do. Flacco in here. Welcome back, Flacco. Yeah, repping the 16 Stanley Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins hat here tonight. They last night taken down the reigning Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers, and it was a hell of a game where, quite honestly, I think the Penguins may have beaten them at their own game. They took the fight into them, got physical in the offensive end of the ice, and when they got punched, they counter-punched almost immediately. So I like that. We have Chris Olave at home, spot on. Yeah, I mean, Corey Trice, it's not, the head issues like Olave has, but, for a guy that's had, 2 ACL tears now, and then hamstring injuries galore, do you really think Corey Trice is going to be that sort of guy that's going to, run routes and, use his lower body a ton at wide receiver? That's just impossible. That'd be a death wish on his career, honestly. And I don't mean that any disrespect to Corey Trice, just when you have those kinds of injuries and you're going to, now transition to wide receiver, that's downright insane. We get the greatest season ever in exchange for 5 bad years. We will be okay. Yeah, 17-0. You're up there with the Miami Dolphins for perfect season plus the Super Bowl. I think people are going to remember that more than the winless seasons after that, because you got a Super Bowl that made you the most in NFL history, and then, like I said, those many first overall picks. That's going to do well for you moving forward past those 5 years. Mark Krause here, or Cruz in here. Welcome, Mark. Jari should have gotten number 1 star last night. I didn't see who got the stars of the game, but I will, say this. I think I, kind of like a majority of Penguins fans, have been critical of Jari, and we're going to be like, we so want Tristan Jari off this team. But hey, this team, heading into the year, initially we thought was going to be a lottery team, and what better goalie to help this team tank than Tristan Jari? But hey, when Jari has a good performance, I'm going to say that was, 2-time NHL All-Star Tristan Jari. And again, he did it again. I think it's fair to say that when Tristan Jari looks down at the other end of the ice and he sees a fantastic consensus top 10 goaltender in the NHL, he rises up to the occasion, and he did it again. He does that. He has those kinds of performances against team. I think he gave up 3 goals as well, but had a fairly decent night in the second game of the year when the Pens beat the New York Islanders and Ilya Sorokin was at the other end of the ice. Did it last night against Sergei Bobrovsky. Trying to think his other games he played, wasn't going up against anyone spectacular. The one game against the Sharks, he was going up against his good buddy Alex Nedeljkovic, so I think that was a motivation enough. But yeah, Jari, hell of a game from him. Made big saves, and also love that the team picked him up. When he let up a goal, they went back, gave him that 2-goal cushion once again. Are we predicting giving hot takes like last time? Yeah. Come back with that, Echelon, near the end of the show. Come back with that, and we'll do them at the end of the show. We'll all get our predictions in before we wrap up things here tonight. So come back with that a little bit later on, Echelon. I got to think of it, honestly, because this game could go any which way. Thank you as well, Concepts. Agree, love the content and the laid-back approach. Zero drama and clickbait. Always looking forward to the lives. Appreciate that, Concepts, as always. Flacco here. Can't blame Olave. All the hospital balls, no throws. New Orleans throws. I even get hurt watching the quarterbacks Olave had. Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah, that'd be another reason why I would have confidence if Olave were to come here to Pittsburgh. And tons of people are saying, oh, he's the perfect fit for Pittsburgh. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to throw too many hospital balls this season. So if you can have Olave as a number 2 who's not getting as much as attention as DK, and he's not going to get, absolutely drilled or worried about getting drilled every single time he catches the ball, that could prove very beneficial for the Steelers. And last comment here before we continue on into the segment of the program. Flacco here again. I like Jari, but some of the goals was tough to block. I mean, yeah, some nights you'll see Jari swimming in his crease and out of position and, looking like he can't stop a beach ball. And in others, he'll be a brick wall like he was last night. And those couple goals, he gave up. One was from Sam Reinhart right around the hash marks and just, ripped it high. Jari could, just hope that it hit him. He'd have to have impeccable reaction time to get a piece of that. And then the other, I'm trying to remember the last one from Marchand. I think Marchand's it. Weren't they 2 tap-ins? So bang, bang plays. I'm not going to critique him too hard. Maybe he could have saved one of them, but I don't know there. Nonetheless, hell of a night from Jari last night, that's for sure. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, 9 of you in here right now. Let's do it. We are going to switch gears here and get into the extra Pittsburgh sports news segment of the evening. To begin, we are going to stick with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we're actually going to rewind things here back about 24 hours and change. Yesterday, Steelers coordinators and players spoke to the media. Going to hit on what they said real quick. Started off with offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. He had a couple of things to say. First thing that he mentioned was that hasn't noticed anything different about how Aaron Rodgers is approaching this week's game against his old team. He said, Rodgers been in the league for 21 years and, changing his approach or, going through the same approach week to week. It's, pretty sound for him. So it doesn't seem like on the outside that, whoa, sorry about that. My computer all of a sudden decided to play an ad, I guess. My bad. But anyways, back to Arthur Smith, talking about Rodgers, at least on the outside, doesn't seem like around his teammates, Rodgers is going to, give them a, reason or a pep talk, a feeling like, hey, go out here, let's win this one for me, guys. I'm sure on the inside, he's putting a, good bit of emotion and pressure on himself, but at least he's not, projecting that onto other teammates. He's just going to let them go about their way, do their thing. Also, Arthur Smith, this was a hot topic coming out of last Thursday's game against the Bengals. Smith, just like Mike Tomlin, said that the flea flicker play, it was a flea flicker called on the field, but the play, it was a package play with an alert to go out of the flea flicker into another look. Obviously, miscommunication on the play between Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Warren. So I think we can confirm that, hey, they just weren't on the same page there. One of the last notable things that Arthur Smith said, talking about rookie quarterback Will Howard, who is making his way back from IR. Good praise for Howard and how he's gone about sticking on IR, probably a little longer than, really what he should have been. Smith calling Howard, we call him Coach Will. Now he's back to being a player. So it sounds like Will Howard, even though on the shelf, was as sharp as a tack in the film room, preparing as if he was still going to play against whatever the opponent of the Steelers would have been that week. After that, we heard from Steelers defensive coordinator Carol Austin, who you see on your screen there. Austin, of course, he got more questions than Smith because, why ask about what good the offense did when the defense was absolutely putrid. Carol Austin said kind of like what Mike Tomlin and Cam Hayward and everyone else said, that the defense struggled and they've been bad against the run a ton, and that was one of the main reasons why they struggled mightily against the Bengals, and the Cincinnati had early success on the ground, and it continued throughout the game. He said the bottom line is we have to stop the run. Said that the 2 long runs by Chase Brown changed the way that he called the game. I think Mike Tomlin said a similar thing on Tuesday in his press conference, which kind of worries me. If 2 runs from, a running back are able to, just absolutely shatter your $160 million defense, I don't think that's a good look. Also, your running game needs to improve, but is that really an excuse about why you got absolutely obliterated the way you did over and over and over and over and over and over again by Jamar Chase? Doesn't really make sense there. Continued on, did Terrell Austin did bring up Nick Herbig, and the 28 snaps, I believe is what it was, that he played against the Bengals. Austin said, we do have to explore getting him in there more. Sometimes that happens in the course of the game. The reason why Herbig was not on the field, he said that the Bengals' final drive was not an obvious passing situation. He said that the Steelers put out Highsmith more because he still thought that the Bengals could run the ball when they got the ball back with, 2 minutes, 14 seconds or something like that left in the game. So, I mean, yeah, the way Chase Brown was cooking and your run defense was straight ass, of course there's always the worry about the run, but still no excuse why the hell Jamar Chase on the first or second play of that drive, he's running across her and he's wide open and no one else is in the picture frame on the TV that Amazon Prime had going there. Still though, insane that Nick Herbig was not out there. That if he was looking for some sort of an excuse, that sure as hell wasn't. We've talked on here ad nauseum before about how, Alex Highsmith probably, profiles as a better run stopper, but this season, I sure as hell haven't seen him stopping the run any, better than Herbig. So that did not make any sense to me there from Austin. Last thing he said is that the Steelers, they are using less of their dime package this year because Peyton Wilson has both the ability to cover tight ends and also a linebacker used to blitz there. So Steelers playing more nickel than usual. Gotta wonder, love Peyton Wilson as much as the Nets guy. If your defense is gonna, keep having games like that, you gotta, change something sooner or later here, or else you're gonna go nuts doing the same thing over and over and over again. Literal definition of insanity. After the 2 coordinators spoke, we did hear from the players as well. Aaron Rodgers, he spoke with the Green Bay media through a Zoom call. Got to catch up, I'm sure, with some guys there. And one interesting quote there from Rodgers, and honestly, not the most surprising thing. He said that my football career starts and will end one day with Green Bay. So if this is the last year that Aaron Rodgers plays football, and I don't, blame him or criticize him one bit for this. I understand it. We just went through a similar thing Pens fans did with Marc-Andre Fleury. Sounds like Rodgers going to sign a one-day contract and retire a Green Bay Packer should he choose to hang up the cleats after the season. Again, no hard feelings on that. Understand it. Speaking of Rodgers, he doing double duty for the Steelers this week. Juan Thornhill, Steelers safety, confirming that Rodgers was not just going, through his preparation on the offensive side of the ball. He was also helping on the scout team this week in practice. So playing the opposition quarterback, which, spending many, many years with that offensive system that Matt LaFleur runs in Green Bay, you would kind of love to have Rodgers, who ran that offense before, to run that offense against his defense in practice and give them any pointers on what to expect. So I love that. Thornhill said it himself. He knows their system. It's definitely going to help us out. Love that from Rodgers. I thought he was a bad teammate. I guess bad teammates, don't bad teammates don't help their defense, when they're going up against their former teams. How about that? Last couple Steelers that we heard from yesterday. Cam Hayward, again, kind of like Terrell Austin and Mike Tomlin, when asked, how to fix what went wrong against the Bengals. We've seen it too much. I think just got to be accountable in our gaps. We just want to make the play so bad that sometimes we get out of our gaps, and it makes the defense susceptible. Also talked about stopping the run at all. So, yeah, Hayward, kind of like everyone else, saying, stop the run. But also this quote here, think we just got to be accountable in our gaps. Makes you wonder if some guys on the D-line, kind of like we've seen from other players on this defense over the past couple of years, maybe they're trying to go out and be the one that makes the play instead of doing their job, which, makes the defense more locked down. Wonder if that was directed or not at the two young guys that Hayward is with on the D-line, Keanu Benton and Derek Harmon, which, I wouldn't doubt it. We did see Chase Brown. It's not like he was running to one side or the other on those runs. He was running up the middle for, I think, those two big runs that he had. So guess maybe a couple of hints thrown the way of Hayward's young teammates there. Lastly, heard from Will Howard. Of course, people are going to want to know what the sixth-round savior of the Steelers had to say. Howard saying that he was, glad to be out there on the practice field, said that it was just a joy for him to play football again, even, given handoff, couldn't do any of that while he was, on IR and his practice window hadn't been opened yet. Howard said it was, scout team that he was running a little bit with Aaron Rodgers. He handed the ball off. Don't think I've ever smiled more on two handoff plays in my life. So glad to have Will Howard back. Also said that he did like the moniker of Coach Will. Now he's back to Player Will. Loves that. And also just mentioned a bit ago, how bad of a teammate Aaron Rodgers is for running scout team against his defense, showing them the little details of the offense that he used to run for years. I guess Rodgers is also a bad teammate because Will Howard said that Rodgers has still been helping him while he's been on IR. Howard been making cut-ups and on league-wide trends, studying defensive signals and other things. Rodgers has been giving him feedback and walking him through it all and how to watch the film. So, man, that terrible asshole teammate there, Aaron Rodgers, I got to tell you. Sure, the comment section is about to explode right now. Everyone's favorite topic, wide receiver trade rumors. This time coming from Justin Schultz, I think formerly of the of Fox Sports. He yesterday posting that the two wide receivers in New Orleans are being monitored this trade deadline by other teams. Of course, talking about Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, who we have previously mentioned. He said that several teams are wondering if the Saints are going to move one or both of those two guys. So that's interesting there. He did say, Schultz, that Olave has one more year on his deal, but that the Saints are looking to extend him. Also, Shaheed is a free agent. Got to wonder if the same thing is, going on with him, if the Saints are going to be willing to bring him back. So we'll see that. Also, on top of that report from Jordan Schultz, Ben Solak, pretty decent NFL analyst for ESPN, listed Pittsburgh, the Steelers, as the ideal landing spot for Chris Olave. Shaheed's ideal landing spot, the New England Patriots. But, I still wouldn't be surprised if those two ideal destinations for those two wide receivers could be interchanged. And the last up-to-date wide receiver rumor that we are hearing out there right now. This one coming here, I believe, from Tony Pauline, who covers the Tennessee Titans for Sportskeeda. He listed the Steelers as a team that could be targeting Calvin Ridley from the Tennessee Titans. I think it's Flacco in there, or one of you in there who despises the idea of Calvin Ridley, but hey, could be interesting. Also, Pauline did bring up Jalen Waddle in that situation. Not sure how much he knows about the situation going on with the Dolphins, but Calvin Ridley kind of become more of the guys that is in the back of our head, but we don't always talk about him as much for a Steelers wide receiver edition. I mean, you're probably looking at him as the most seasoned veteran out of all the guys in there, but we will have to wait and see. If the Steelers do not get a wide receiver at the trade deadline, or even if they do, they could always still get one in the draft. We're briefly, here and there throughout the season, going to sprinkle in some early mock drafts from credible websites. And CBS, I believe they just dropped one of their first mock drafts, first-round mock drafts, midway as we are approaching midway through the NFL season. And the Steelers at pick 16, so Steelers not making the playoffs or just missing according to this here from CBS. They're picking 16th, and wouldn't mind this. They are taking 6'3", 195-pound wide receiver from Ohio State, Carnell Tate. I would love that. Tate so far this year, 34 receptions, 587 yards, 66 touchdown grabs. Wouldn't mind that for the undefeated Buckeyes right now. But, you get Tate, you pair him with Metcalf. I think you're golden there. Wouldn't it also just be so rich if all of our hopes and dreams pan out, where Will Howard does, show something that he is the guy heading into not this year's draft, but next year's draft, the 2027 draft. Steelers get a good draft pick there. I mean, hopefully, they would still be playing all right. I don't know, but let's just say that then Jeremiah Smith is available. You want to rebuild the national champion Buckeyes, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, with Will Howard throwing him the rock after Aaron Rodgers retires. I'm not a diehard, Ohio State Buckeyes guy here, but I mean, yeesh, that would have me doing crazy things here on stream. Wrapping up the extra Steelers news here for the day, just keeping tabs on a couple of division rivals. The Cincinnati Bengals, they've been coming up in trade rumors lately, mainly Trey Hendrickson being rumored to be traded elsewhere, like the San Francisco 49ers and other spots like that. But maybe the trade that they will make isn't their top defensive lineman. It could be one of their linebackers, Logan Wilson, longtime Bengals inside linebacker. Hasn't been playing much for the Bengals. They've, sort of used him sparingly or downright benched him. Wilson has requested a trade per Adam Schefter, so we'll monitor that, see if Wilson does get dealt with the trade deadline looming. Also, the Bengals, they're going to be going up against the New York Jets this weekend. Tyrod Taylor, who just got named the starter over Justin Fields, he is day-to-day with a knee injury. He's questionable, but is trending in the right direction, according to Ian Rappaport. So maybe there's still an outside chance that Justin Fields and the Jets, the Justin Fields-led New York Jets take on the Bengals this weekend. Maybe Fields can, if he gets in there, be a sleeper agent for the Steelers and get revenge for us on the Bengals. Though, even if he does, whether it's him or Taylor, they're going to be in a tough spot. No Sauce Gardner or Garrett Wilson, I saw as well. A hamstring injury, missed the last 2 games for the Ravens and had the bye week as well. For Baltimore, he was a full participant in practice today for Baltimore, and it looks like he should be ready to go this weekend against the Bears. Last couple things here for the Steelers. An update on some former Steelers bids for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2026. Congratulations, L.C. Greenwood. He advanced in the seniors category for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Hopefully he can get in. He's one of those guys to where I think tons of people are wondering, why is it taking forever for this guy to get in? Hopefully Greenwood can get in. And also Art Rooney Jr., he is a candidate in the contributor category for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So congratulations to those two gentlemen right there. Also, they join, who is it? James Harrison, Hines Ward, Marquise Pouncey, and Gary Anderson. Those four former Steelers advancing a couple of days ago in the modern era category for the Hall of Fame. And lastly, mentioned it earlier a little bit related to the Steelers. Happy belated birthday to Jalen Ramsey. J-Ram, go out there to Sunday night. Give yourself a late birthday present with an interception. I think TJ Watt just did it not too long ago. He had his birthday, and he had quite a showing. I think that was against the Vikings? He had that game after his birthday. So go do similar things there. Ramsey, wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the day. Switching gears back to the Penguins for 1 second. Even though this team off to a hot 6-2 start, doesn't mean that the rumors or speculations of them selling off players hasn't died down. David Pagnotta on the Sakirs and Price show said that insiders definitely know that still Ricard Raquel, Brian Rust, Nola Chari, Eric Carlson, Kevin Hayes, those types of guys, the Penguins are still willing to move them. But, the Genos and Sids of the world, they, as much as, the hockey media up there in Canada want that dream trade of Crosby to happen, it's just as equally, unlikely that it's going to happen. So Sid and Gino, they aren't going anywhere, but Pagnotta here putting that some of the guys we have talked about here on the channel that could get traded could still be moved. Down on the farm for the Pens here, I think right now the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Penguins off to a equally actually better hot start to the season to the NHL team. They are 5-0 to start the year, and some guys that we were wondering, are they going to make the team? Did they just make the team out of training camp? How are they going to do to start the year down in the AHL? They're off to a hot start. 5-0. Ville Koivunen down there in 4 games, 6 points, 2 goals. Had an absolutely nasty looking backhand 5-hole goal on a penalty shot the other night. Avery Hayes, who was a guy we talked about in training camp, he has 4 points through 5 games. Tristan Brose, 5 points in 5 games. Hayes and Brose each 3 goals. And then Sergei Murashov, who's probably the most popular one out of all the Pens prospects, the young Russian goaltender who we're waiting for him to make his NHL debut because he could be the guy for the next decade. Murashov, 4-0 to start the year, a .936 save percentage, a 180 goals against average. Made 26 saves on 27 shots 2 nights ago. Dude looks legit. And this hot starting AHL Wilkes-Barre Scranton Pens team, they are going to be getting reinforcements here soon enough. Kyle Dubas, the other day, Penguins general manager, said Rutger McGroarty will return to play here within the month, and he will start off in Wilkes-Barre. I don't think Dubas specified whether that was going to be a sort of a rehab assignment or if McGroarty is, going to start the year in the AHL and maybe work his way back up to the NHL at some point later on in the season. We will see what happens there. And the final thing here for the Pens today, a minor story, but it does affect, me actually. The Penguins' development rights to the former Civic Mellon Arena site has expired. Those development rights are up. The URA and SEA now take over those rights. So little over more than 28 and a half acres open for development. Those Civic Arena spaces, they're filled with parking lots right now. And me and my family, we always park in those parking lots for any event for PPG Paints Arena. So, yeah, wonder, now that the rights to those lots are now up, what's going to happen with them. I hope they don't take out all of those parking lots there, because if so, where the hell are we going to park us out of towners to Pittsburgh? And wrapping up the extra Pittsburgh sports news here for the day, just a couple of quick stories relating to the Pittsburgh Pirates. As a matter of fact, the World Series about to start here, I think in about an hour. The the Buccos today losing a member of their front office, and quite honestly, one of their few actually competent members of their front office. The Washington Nationals hiring the Pirates' director of amateur scouting, Justin Horowitz, as the assistant general manager. So Horowitz, amateur scouting director for the Buccos, which, I mean, hey, just a very outside looking in perspective here. If there's anything that the Bucs have done kind of right over the past, 5-6 years under the tenureship of Ben Cherington, they have hit on a couple of draft picks. Paul Skeens, outstanding pick. Connor Griffin, top prospect in baseball. Fantastic pick right there. And I like the pick of Seth Hernandez in this past year's draft, but now a guy who's key to identifying those good draft picks in Justin Horowitz. He is now off to Washington Nationals. Just another couple guys coming to my mind right now. Bubba Chandler as a second-round pick. Jared Jones a couple of years ago. So, yeah, tons of good picks influenced and scouted there by Justin Horowitz. But now he is off to other places. Speaking of one of those good picks, Connor Griffin, congratulations to him. He won recently USA Today's Minor League Player of the Year. No shock there. Also, Paul Skeens won an All-Star nod for some other publication, unsurprisingly, a couple of days ago. Happy birthday to Pirates relief pitcher Chase Shugart. He's celebrating his birthday today. And the last news story here of the day, we kind of mentioned it earlier, the crazy yesterday with the FBI getting involved in the NBA illegal betting and gambling situation. A similar thing with the MLB happened this season. Emmanuel Clase and former Pirate pitcher Luis Ortiz with the Cleveland Guardians, they got put on indefinite leave for investigation of illegal gambling or illegal betting. Now, those two gentlemen barred from the Dominican League and the MLB from playing any sort of winter baseball leagues amid that investigation. So Ortiz, and focusing specifically on Ortiz here, yeah, Buccos definitely won that trade. A rare, kind of like finding a unicorn trade win for the Pirates there, getting Spencer Horwitz for Luis Ortiz and a couple of prospects, because seeing that looking more and more like Luis Ortiz ain't going to be playing baseball again. But hey, innocent until proven guilty. We'll go with that. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for the sports here this evening. Just going to wrap up here on a couple of comments. You guys' comments have been flying in here like crazy while I was going through all that. I will try to hit on them all. So let's trying to figure out where we left off right here. Right here, says Echelon. Starting to feel bad for Terrell Austin. Everybody knows it's not his defense completely, at least, but insist on firing him. Yeah, I mean, it is Mike Tomlin's child at the end of the day, the defense, but I do think, this year at least, Terrell Austin has been running that defense more on game days than what we've been realizing. So our fans, calling for his head a whole lot of more than Mike Tomlin. I think that could be a possibility, but also it's one of those situations where it's not all his fault, but he does have a good bit of blame with it. It's kind of like the Matt Canada thing, more or less. And I don't mean to cut down Terrell Austin to Matt Canada levels here, or say that Austin has as much say in the defense like Canada did with the offense, but it's kind of one of those things where, are you bad at your job? Yes. But is it entirely your fault because the coach over you maybe hamstrings, cuts off at the knee what you can do a little bit, and also his final say a bunch and does stuff like that, and he's the one pulling the string sometime? That's also true. Before Austin came to the Steelers, he was Cincy's DC and was torched for more than 50 points in his last game with them and was fired afterwards. Of course, the Steelers went and picked him up. Old, they're trash. We can fix him. Not sure if that's worked out quite yet. Yes, their Flacco, Aaron Rodgers should retire a Flacco. Joe Flacco should retire a Brown because they saved him by trading him away. Oh, that'd be hilarious. Joe Flacco, what if he, after this season, finally says, I've had enough, and goes back and retires a Brown? That would be crazy. There. Flacco said we shouldn't go after a quarterback this draft. They're all mad. Yeah, I agree. I mean, who would have thought, Drew Aller and Arch Manning and then those types of guys would have been completely non-factors for first-round picks, 2 months now into the college football season? That is very crazy right there. Heard the Jets owner cut costs last year by cutting food trucks for team practices for the players. Guess it was an off-season tradition, so Rodgers paid to bring in back at his cost. Owner hated it. Ooh. I do not know about their concepts, but that is crazy if it is true. I'm going to take your word for that. We get Calvin Ridley. That's on brand, and I will officially be pissed off. Yeah, I mean, but still, though, at least, if you use Calvin Ridley sparingly, at least he's still a guy that's had some experience of being a number one before, and it's not, all Calvin Austin after that, if Metcalf goes down. Looking here. Carnell Tate, top 13 to 16 first round guy. Yeah, I'd be looking at Carnell Tate. Now, have I paid attention to Ohio State as much as I did last year? No, because pretty much every game they've been playing in has been I've been focusing on some other teams with legitimate, draftable QBs, but Carnell Tate, I think he was a guy who I think fared pretty well as a number 3 behind Jeremiah Smith and Emeka Egbuka last year with Ohio State. Now this year in a prominent role, at least from the outside, looking at stat sheets here, I think he is he's looking pretty well. So I would definitely do some more look on him as the draft nears. Man, Stonehand Ridley. Yeah, you Flacco Echelon, you do not like the idea of Ridley whatsoever. He has drop problems. I mean, can't be any worse than Deontay Johnson, right? Tate to me is a mecca of the draft right now. I'd be all right with that. I mean, Steelers, they just missed on Emeka Egbuka. Went 21. What was it? Yeah, 21 to the Buccaneers, and Steelers 22 picked Derek Harmon, which I love the pick of Derek Harmon. I might have liked it in the time as well, but man, just having Egbuka there, that would have been a very interesting decision there. Lance33 in the comment section. So what is up, Lance? Any update on Zach Frazier? Yes, we did cover the final injury reports for both teams earlier in the live stream. Zach Frazier did not practice yesterday, was a limited participant today in practice, is questionable for Sunday. Said that he suffered a calf injury against the Bengals last Thursday, and he was wearing a calf sleeve. So he's questionable for Sunday, though. I think, after practicing today, I do give myself some hope that he will be good to go on Sunday. I think, I think he said he suffered it in the second drive of the Bengals game, his injury, and he finished that game. So I would have, little reason to suspect, even though he's questionable, him missing Sunday. So we will definitely see what is going on there. So we got a Heisman Trophy mid-season preview there on ESPN. Wonder who the Heisman favorite would be, because nobody's really setting themselves apart from the group here. It's got to be Fernando Mendoza, something like that. Rodgers throws way harder than Cam. Maybe that's what is causing Ridley to have all those drops. He's waiting for a quarterback to put some zip on the ball and get it to him, rather than just floaters. Looking here again. Appreciate all the comments. I apologize that I am not getting to them. Prefer someone long term like Myers, Shaheed, or Olave. Stopped following Ridley when he went to the Titans from Atlanta. Titans are hard to watch. Yeah, that's agree there. Yeah, I like all the comment sections. You guys talking about wide receivers right now. I think those are my top three right there. Of course, Waddle would be in my top three, but I don't really think that's possible for both his price and the Dolphins willing to trade him. Yeah, Shaheed, Olave, Myers. Those are my guys right there. And then we can talk about whoever beyond that. Also, just thinking about it, will the Steelers probably wait up until the trade deadline to make a wide receiver trade, if any? Yeah. But wouldn't it also, make a tiny bit of sense to make the first wide receiver trade? Because then that puts pressure and rises the you spend a third-round pick on Jacoby Myers, you bring him in, all of a sudden that's one wide receiver off the trade market, and these other teams around the league that need a wide receiver, they're going to get more aggressive for a wide receiver, and teams are going to see that, and they're going to, lift their prices a little bit more. So, I mean, I would want to, see a wide receiver trade get made before any other one, quite honestly. Honestly, if the intention is to go all in on offense, I'm trading a 2026 third and a 2027 first, and probably a player or two. I think you guys still on that Jay Jettas, Justin Jefferson trade scenario right here. What would you give up? I don't even know where to begin, because I think the Vikings are going to be asking for immediate payback on that. Completely and totally off the table there for the Steelers. So, I just don't think that that's a realistic possibility there. Did I freeze up here? Hello? All right, I guess we're back. Yeah, I got a second screen here. But yeah, I think, the Vikings, if they were ever going to, trade Justin Jefferson, it would be, first round pick in this year's draft and probably next year's draft as a starting point. I can't even, even fathom a, trade package there. Addison and Naylor are both good. The QB play is just bad. Yeah, what the hell's going on up there? Still going on with Carson Wentz and, JJ McCarthy's just there on the sideline. It's crazy. Yeah, Highsmith could be a part of that. Holy hell, I never thought I'd see a trade package with Skylar Thompson in it. Man, he's become such an afterthought. First and 26, third and 27, Skylar Thompson and Highsmith. I think the Vikings still say no to that for a wide receiver the caliber of Justin Jefferson. Also, Steelers are probably going to say no to that either. They want their first-round pick in 2026 at almost any means necessary. Catching up here. You see the Packers injury list. Yes, Packers. Dontavian Wicks out. Lucas Van Ness out. And a ton of questionables. Their kicker, Brandon McManus. Another defensive lineman, I believe. Devontae Wyatt, he's questionable. Two other wide receivers, Matthew Golden and Christian Watson, they're questionable. So, yeah, they are going to be coming in hobbling here tonight. We'll see what happens. Super Bowl in the future with that offensive line looking good, running back in his prime, and Justin Jefferson and DK would just go crazy with the tight end group. That'd be, crazy ass offense indeed. Pittsburgh Steelers aren't that smart. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. A couple of short freezes, no biggie. All right, I appreciate that, Flacco. Thank you very much. I have faith. We're going all in. I know it's all in, but, at the right price, we'll see if the Steelers pull the trigger or not. I will have faith that a wide receiver will come. Having a wide receiver, too. That's when I'll believe it. Wicks out, Lucas Van Ness out, Golden Watts, and, all that good stuff. Literally, Skylar is their help there. Quarterback is doo-doo. Oh, yeah. Imagine you say Skylar Thompson could be your savior up there in Minnesota. That'd be crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, 8 of you in here right now. Let's take one last scroll here through Twitter before we wrap things up here this evening. Sunday Night Football ahead. There's an interesting post here from the Green Bay Packers. A picture of, I think, Tucker Kraft, Jordan Love, and Christian Watson all looking at a tablet. And the Packers are saying, what they looking at? Wrong answers only. And people, of course, coming up, people, of course, putting in some Steeler stuff there. The Watt, Highsmith, Herbig trio is one suggestion. Aaron Rodgers and his COVID toe, another. Jeez, Louise. Okay, looking else here. Not seeing much, just more Steeler practices. So, think that is going to do it today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me here tonight on stream for damn near an hour and 45 minutes. So, I appreciate it. I really do. Real quick, did not forget Echelon. You're still here. Let's do it. Predictions and hot takes. You guys can get them in the comment section right now. Let me think up of one real quick. I'm gonna go with, because it's his birthday, a Jalen Ramsey interception. I'm not gonna go bold and say a pick six. And also, just to remind us that he's still that dude, I'm going to go with 2 sacks for Nick Herbig. So that's my predictions for defense. Offense, I'm going to avoid, respectfully, offensive predictions because I have just no idea what Aaron Rodgers is going to do in this game. He could be God mode. He could also, look like ass against his old team. So we'll see. But yeah, there's my 2 predictions. I'm going to go a Jalen Ramsey interception and a 2 sacks for Nick Herbig. So, Echelon, you can write those down. As a matter of fact, I'll write them down here. Here, too. Sticky notes. Pen right here. So, let's go here. Me, Jalen Ramsey, INT, and Nick Herbig, 2 sacks. All right. See, you guys get yours in the comments. I'm just writing mine down at least so I can remember to say that in my final prediction ahead of right before kickoff Sunday night. Flacco here. Mount Washington, 2 touchdowns. Herbig, 2 sacks. So you're on the same board with me. Wouldn't be surprised if you see Washington 2 touchdowns. We did hear in the past Aaron Rodgers say Mount Washington is the biggest wide receiver I've played with. Almost reminds me of a Mercedes Lewis, Rodgers' former Packers tight end. So let's see Rodgers target that against his old team. Echelon here. Steelers win 26-22. Ramsey INT from the safety spot. Derek of them all right there. That's got to be I think the craziest of them all. That is, you're probably the biggest Steeler fan that's predicting Austin to be the end all be all for this offense in his return. Tell you what, I think I'm not sure if it was you, Echelon, or someone else here who brought up earlier in the week. If Calvin Austin has a game like that, 136 yards, I think we might be able to kiss away the wide receiver trade because they're going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, look, Austin, told you, he's a guy. So we don't need a wide receiver. We don't need to give up any sort of a draft pick for anything like that. So if Austin has a game like that, yeah, cool. But I think that will also keep the Steelers from getting aggressive and trading for a wide receiver. Oh, damn, we both thought 2 sacks. Yep. It was me, unfortunately. That's why it's a bold take. I'll be more realistic this week than last week. Yeah, I forget what yours were last week. You were predicting like a pick 6 or something like that. Went A-Rod, 5 touchdowns. Calvin, no stats, says Echelon. We'll see there. I mean, sure. I mean, he just did it. So, all right. I think that's going to do it here, ladies and gentlemen. Flacco, have a good rest of your night. That is going to wrap things up here for the week, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back here on Sunday night. Steelers, Packers. Hope you all join me back here then. There's the header right there. Like Echelon says, stay safe, everyone. That'll do it. Have a good rest of your Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. We will reconvene back here on Sunday night. One last time, like this live stream, share this live stream, leave a comment in the comment section, bold predictions, anything like that after the fact. Go subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss a thing. Go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR, Facebook, Instagram, and X, and come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR60. Thank you all. Have a good rest of your Friday night back here on Sunday. Peace.